Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be talking about my biggest issue with MVP or Michael Venum Page. And it's not going to be about him getting knocked out by Lima. I have no real issue with that knockout or how it happened or his skill set. Like I said, no, it's not regarding Lima. It's not regarding his skill set. It's not regarding his style of fighting. And it's not particularly involving his level of competition before Lima. So as far as the Lima thing, let's get that out the way. I really don't think that loss says too much about Venum Page, except that he can lose. He's a human like everyone else, what we already know. I already thought in the fight that Lima, as far as striking-wise, was his toughest style matchup, given how we've seen, or at least how I saw Raymond Daniels lose, a bit of how I saw Stephen Wonderboy Thompson lose. A bit of that, like where you have fighters kind of pressuring you, attacking that lead leg, taking away your wills, which take away your defense and your offense, cornering you, then pretty much just landing big shots and take you out there, like what happened with Nicky Halston like twice against Raymond Daniels. Now, like when you look at Lima, he has some of the heaviest leg kicks in all of MMA. He has power. He's experienced. He has good pressuring style. He could take the legs away and push you against the cage and just do the same thing and maybe worse. Sorry, like saying this style-wise, as far as striking, this is in all of MMA probably his toughest style matchup. So it wasn't just like he was coming here against anybody. A lot of people are saying, oh, as soon as he fights a good fighter, he gets knocked out. But Lima is more than just a good fighter. He's a great fighter, two-time Bellator welterweight champion. Lots of experience against the best. Lots of wins against the best. Just barely lost to a Rory McDonald. So he's not just a good fighter. He's a great fighter. You got to give him his credit. And also on top of being a great fighter, it was a tough style matchup for MVP. But all that being said, as far as how the fight played out, really nothing much happened before that happening. Like Lima was in his guard for most of that first round and literally did basically no damage. I think one elbow to the nipple, and on top of him in his guard for about over 2 minutes. And you could get more damage done to you by having a girl grind on you at the club than what Lima did inside MVP's guard. So I'll say that's more impressive on MVP's side as far as defensively in his guard. You kind of want a guy like that to be able to get back to his feet, but as far as defensively in his guard, he held Lima to really no damage. He still might have lost that first round, but Lima did no damage, didn't take none of his energy, did nothing. Like it was a neutral position almost because nothing happened. As a matter of fact, I think at the end of the round, MVP started landing some ground and pound to end that round. So MVP might land more damage from the guard than actually Lima did. Actually, I think he landed like 4 elbows to the head, whereas Lima landed like 1 elbow to the nipple. So first round really didn't say much. Second round really didn't say much either. Matter of fact, MVP was doing more damage as he had Lima rocking against the cage. Kind of got overzealous. Lima took advantage, kicked his lead leg out as he was trying to come in with a straight. MVP's mistake, he tried to spring right back up in striking range, and it all happened like a split second. It wasn't like it was a long, slow round like they're in the 4th round. They both tired. He takes forever to get up and gets hit. It was all happened in less than a split second. He got his leg kicked out, tried to spring back up. Uppercut came all in like under a second. So you could say kind of bad fight IQ, but so maybe it's just reactionary. Like he just always tries to spring back up after knockout. I mean, getting his leg kicked out or falling over or whatever in sparring, or maybe even in his fights. He's like, I could spring back up. I'm so fast. I could get up and I could get out of range. But that wasn't the case. Lima was able to touch his shoulders, set him up, hitting him with the uppercut, dropped him, hit him with some ground and pound. But really, that loss doesn't say too much about MVP. It might say, oh, it creates a narrative, but it really, as far as overall, I think what's really the more the story or tell of his career will be what happens after this loss, how he'll come back. He could still very well go and do great things. I think he has potential to become a UFC champion, Bellator champion, and that might say it sound crazy now, but he still has all the potential in the world. Still a very good age, and this probably will set a fire under his butt. But other than that, like I said, more than what happened in the fight, more than happened before the fight in his career, I think his career is more going to be told by what happens after this fight. And now let's get to my biggest issue with his career is how long it's taken. So we can look at a guy comparable like Israel Adesanya, came from a kickboxing background, came from a striking background, did a little bit of boxing, a lot of kickboxing, a little bit of boxing. And then he transitioned over to MMA. And really in less than half the time, he's accomplished way more than MVP. So MVP's been in Bellator for about 5 or 6 years, and just now fighting like the best competition. I'm not saying like a lot of people say, oh, he just fought Cans. He did fight some decent competition, but he could have obviously fought much better competition. Like the competition wasn't Cans, but still he could have fought much better competition, especially over 6 years and taking so long to get to that point. We look at a guy like Israel Adesanya. He probably had about 3 years overall in MMA, 4 years in MMA, and only been in UFC for a year and maybe 2 or 3 months now, maybe a year and 5, but definitely not 2 years, well under 2 years. And it already has a belt around his waist, an interim belt, not an official undisputed belt, but still an interim belt, and beat one of the best guys in the division, the guy who was just supposed to get the title fight, and beat him convincingly in one of the best fights in MMA history. And he did that all in a very short time. And like just like MP, he didn't come from no grappling background. He came from a striking background. So he might say it might take him a while to get his grappling up, but Israel Adesanya did that same thing, like with way less time and way less, time to tune his skills up. He just came straight in UFC. First year in there, won 4 fights. Really, I think he won in 8 months. He won 4 fights. Then he kind of took a little while for it. Then came back for Anderson Silva, and then for Gaslam. So really, well under 2 years, he got a belt around his waist. Whereas MVP at 6 years or 5 years in Bellator, never even in a title fight or a number 1 contender fight. He got in the tournament because it was created, but he didn't ask for it. It just happened. So maybe he would even took more time if they didn't put that tournament out there and kind of put him in it, because they kind of put him on spot. But that's really my real issue with MVP. Like, say if he would have came in here and just won the tournament, just dominated like an amazing god or something, destroyed everybody, maybe it would kind of swept under the rug. But the fact that he lost, it brings it up more. And it was always an issue I had with him, but just by him losing it, he kind of brings you up to talk about. Like, first, like, it was always in the back of my head, like, why is it got to take so long to get here? And a lot of people were saying the same thing. But by him losing, it becomes more of a subject, because, like, now that you lost, what was all that waiting for? But I think this is going to set a fire in his butt, and he's going to try to be more active now. Because, like, you see that, maybe your value went down a little bit because you got knocked out. So you got to find ways to add new value to it. Basically, at this point, to get back to the same hype he has, he got to avenge that loss, or at least win the belt, defend it a couple times or something to kind of erase that knockout loss. He got to say, I'm better than what that fight performance showed. Really not much was shown in that fight anyway. And look, this is who I really am. Win a belt and to kind of sweep down the rug. Whereas in the past, he could just get by this feeling like, I'm this amazing karate style guy. I'm so amazing. Nobody could beat me. Look at me. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing stuff people ain't never done or seen before. I'm on everyone's highlight reel. Or I'm on every MMA compilation highlight reel several times over. So, and then he's undefeated. But now, I think it's a bad and a good day for him, because now I think he's going to start being active like he should have been. But it's a bad thing, like, it's never good to get knocked out. Not for your health and not for your career. But like I said in this video, I think he took way too much time to get to this point, especially for him to lose when he got to that point. I don't think his competition was bad. I don't think his style is bad. I don't think no issue with his style. He definitely can find ways to tune it to make it, more efficient or do this and that. But solid fighter. I think he's certainly top notch. I don't think he's like, top 5, top 10 just yet, or at least coming off the performance. But I think he certainly could be all of that. I think he's certainly probably top 15. But as far as overall, at this point, as far as credential wise, this guy do a lot more. But he certainly could do it. Hasn't done it yet, but has the time and has the skills to do it. And that concludes this video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.